It is my honor and pleasure to present Cullman, who's 94 years young and still flying. I wanted to share his remarkable story with us. So thank you so much for having me interview you today.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, started with the world of flying.
Well, I think it was 1942, and I was in school, and the class made a field trip to the local airport, and the bug hit me.
Good thing.
So I was intrigued by the small aircraft. I talked my father into helping me financing renting airplanes and getting instruction.
Wonderful. And how old were you when you started flying?
16.
16 years old. Wow. Most people don't even know how to drive. That's great. So how many years have you been flying so far?
77 years.
77 years. That is longer than many people's lifetime. That is remarkable. You enjoy flying?
That's hard to say. But there's a certain freedom one gets in the air that you don't have on the ground.
I totally agree. I too fly every Wednesday with Keystone Flyers, and it's so beautiful, and I just love flying, so I can totally understand. How many planes do you have?
Well, I have 5 airplanes, but
5 airplanes.
My joy in flying is also in fixing old airplanes. So I've rebuilt a number of old airplanes.
Wow, how many?
Well, the two that I have now, the first one I bought for $800.
$800.
And brought it home in the back of a pickup truck. And I thought I would have it flying in 6 months. It took 2 years. I had to build new wings from scratch. The wings were not in good shape. So, and then the other one is unique in that the gentleman in the 30s had several of these Curtiss Wright pushers. And that was during the Depression. And so they were shooting coyotes because there was a bounty on them. $25 a coyote. So the airplane was unique in that the propeller and engine are in the back, not in the front. So the gunner to shoot the coyotes was sitting in front, and you didn't have to worry about him shooting. I was interested in that configuration and all. I found one here in the Seattle area in a chicken. Both of those airplanes needed new wings. The wings are made of wood and not taken care of. They deteriorate. Along with that, I learned a number of skills that I didn't know I had, but I have some old aircraft repair books, and practice makes perfect.
That's right. And so who taught you?
I was self-taught mostly.
Self-taught. You must be very smart.
No, I'm not very smart. I made my first set of ribs for an airplane, and I took them to a professional, and he said, "What are these supposed to be?" And he said, "They're not what you wanted." And he showed me how to lay out the coordinates for the camber on the wing and whatever. But that was a learning process. You know, nobody probably goes through life without making mistakes.
That is right.
And you can seek out professionals that are already have the skills.
That's right. Yeah.
And say, "Hey, give me a hand. How do I do this?"
Not being afraid to
ask.
Ask.
Yeah.
how to get whatever you want.
Yeah.
Ask. So, what did you do as a profession while you were working?
2 ranches. The first one was in the 50s in Mendocino County.
Oh, that's a beautiful area.
And it was too small. But again, it was a learning process. And I sold it and found a much bigger piece of property in the San Joaquin Valley, east of Stockton, and I was there for 25, 30 years. Yeah. I was spoiled when I had the bigger ranch. I had an airstrip by the house and an airstrip at the other end of the ranch. So
you were just destined to fly.
So
the larger ranch you had, how big was it?
1,600 acres.
1,600 acres in California.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No wonder you could finance your flying a hobby. That's wonderful.
Well, I hope to, yes. I hope to.
Yeah. And you always seem to smile. Every time I see you, you have a smile on your face.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I enjoy anything to do with the air. I took up skydiving in 1960 when I was very young in this country, and I got fairly good at it and enjoyed it. But then again, I was ended up having part of my time was teaching, and I didn't enjoy teaching dumb students because dumb students in that kind of atmosphere, I was afraid I'd have to someday go and say, I'm sorry, but Johnny isn't coming home tonight. So I finally searched my soul and I said, I think it's time to quit, and I did.
Whether it's people or project or whatever.
Or enjoyment. And when it isn't an enjoyment anymore, then it's work, and I haven't had enough work that I didn't need to add anymore.
Nope. I totally agree. What kind of flying? Do just private scenic flying, or did you do agricultural flying? Or?
I did agricultural flying for a number of years.
And what do you mean by agriculture flying?
Well, it's what the public knows as crop dusting.
Crop dusting.
In other words, you don't get much altitude. You're flying close to the earth.
How close?
Close enough that tall weeds hit the airplane.
That low?
That low.
When I fly on Wednesdays, we usually stay somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000, and I think that's a great altitude for flying.
Well, it depending on the crop and what you're using, whether you're spraying or dusting, it can be, you can be 10 feet high, or you can be where the landing gear is hitting the tall weeds. Yeah, you're right. 3 or 4 feet off the ground.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So what kind of airplanes do you have? You have 5 airplanes.
Well, my airplanes are old. I have 2 1931 airplanes. They get to fly occasionally. I have a 1944 airplane that was active in World War II, shipped to Italy in 44, and came back to the States and was in the Civil Air Patrol for a number of years until some unfortunate soul wrecked it in Placerville, California. And I was the successful bidder for it. I paid $650, I think. for the remains, and
$650.
that was a
Long time ago.
long project. I worked on it for a number of years, and then I moved from California to up here to Washington, and I left it with a friend who did a lot of work on it and farmed out some of it. And from 1972 to 1980, it was a work in progress. And I got to fly it for the first time in 1980, and it's probably my favorite airplane. I recently flew it down to Palm Springs. It's on loan down there for a year at their museum.
In a museum?
Yeah.
Okay, which museum have
Palm Springs Aircraft Museum.
Palm Springs there.
At the airport there in Palm Springs.
Oh, I see. Well, if you're in that area, check it out. You can see Paul's
Yeah.
one of
That's
his,
the L5. It's the first purpose-built air ambulance.
air ambulance.
It will take a full-size stretcher with one person in it, or you can take the stretcher out and another seat pops up, and then it's a two-person one. A number of Army generals in World War II had their own L5 for transportation from spot to spot, and I know Patton had one, and it's a very nice airplane. It's a very safe airplane. If they're flying over higher than it is, and especially around here with the green grass and trees, it blends in well.
Right. For military, that's kind of important.
Yeah. And I have a motor glider that I bought for my old age, and that the feds have a stipulation in their regulations that if you fly a glider, you don't need a medical. And so, thinking about my own health, said, well, there'll probably come a day that I can't pass a medical.
Well, you've been passing the medical so far.
Yeah. So I have that motor glider, and it's fun. It's not transportation. If you use it as an airplane, that is with the engine going. It's about 90 miles an hour.
90 miles an hour.
Which is pretty slow.
Lived such a happy, healthy, and successful life for 94 years young so far, and there's got to be a success formula that helped you to achieve that. Would you share that with us?
I think possibly it's to do what you enjoy.
Do what you enjoy.
If you do what you enjoy, you'll do it well.
And you'll have fun doing it.
And you'll have a lot of fun doing it.
Right, right. Life's too short, so why do things that you don't enjoy? Whatever it is, right? Whether it's a job or hobby, anything, enjoy the moment. Right? Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So I think that was your secret formula for success.
Well, I never thought of it as a formula, you know. Since I stopped ranching and that kept me very active, so I keep active now 3 days a week in the gym. And
keep on moving.
I keep on moving. If I don't go to the gym for a week, I feel I've done myself a disservice. So that's all I can say.
Yeah, that's a great advice. Keep on moving and do what you enjoy.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing your life story with the people around the world. I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much, Paul.
You're very welcome.